Hi, this is Stevie. Today I was practicing some loose hydrangeas, and I had done it just on some less expensive sketchbook paper that I have. The Canson, it is 140 pound, but it's not 100% cotton. I kind of like the sketch, it's just not a very good composition, so I thought I would redo it on my better paper that is 100% cotton. There were a lot of things I liked about this sketch. I liked all of the white that I left and the looseness, the loose look that I got to it. So I'll give it another try, and this is on my Arches paper 140 pound cold press that is 100% cotton. So I start out, as I always do, with flicking a little water on the paper and then kind of mushing it around with my brush. And I just picked two colors for the hydrangea to keep it simple. That is rose madder and manganese blue. And I think the two colors will be sufficient for this. And I'm using my Princeton, I think it's a 3/8 inch or ½ inch flat brush. And I really like the flat brush for making these little X strokes that you see. It just works well for this kind of flower, and I think I use this brush for most of the painting. So I just continue on, and what I'm trying to do is, if you look at the photo up in the corner, I'm trying to preserve some white light area where you see the lighter petals where the sun is hitting them, and then the more purplish color is around the upper and lower edges, and that's what helps to give some form to the flower. And I did want to get some little pink up in the upper left corner where there's another group of flowers, but they're less prominent, and I don't want to make them real prominent, but just suggest that they're there with some color. So just continuing to go around the flower, adding more color as I think I need it, using those little X strokes to suggest the shapes of the petals. And I don't know, I just have found that that's a good way to do these, whether it's oil painting or watercolor painting. I do want to start getting some other color in there to show the foliage, and I want to do it now before the pink color dries so that they blend together and the flower won't end up looking like it's cut out at the end. So I used my normal mix of Winsor Blue and quinacridone burnt orange. You could also use burnt sienna instead of quin burnt orange, and that makes a really nice green, dark green color. I want it to be a little darker up against the flower, and you can fiddle with that color a little bit, to get it to be more to the blue side or more to the green side, just for your personal preference. But notice how I'm going around and applying some of that color in certain spots right up against the flower. I want my darkest values to be close to the flower, close to the petals, and then I add quite a bit of water to the brush as I move away from those petals, which is why you see the color get lighter as I move out toward the edges of the painting. And I'm doing a little bit of negative painting here too. You can't see it too much yet, but when I paint around those petals, here's an opportunity to suggest the shape of a hydrangea petal. Like there's a good example. And I try to leave a little white in between too. I don't put that greenish color right up on the petal. There's a little bit of white, and that tends to make it look like a highlight too. But that helps to show what kind of a flower it is when you can do some negative painting around the outside petals to match the shape of whatever the petal would be. So I'm just working around. I don't want to totally enclose this flower in the green. I often tend to do that, it just happens, but I want to leave a little white is my point on the edges. I don't want the whole flower to be surrounded by green. And so here I'm just it's a balancing act. I keep going back to the flower to work it some more, but I have to make sure that it's not too wet or the color will just bleed. And a few times in this video, I know I take it away to dry it with my heat gun because it's just too wet to continue. But once it's dry enough, then I can go in and suggest some of those hydrangea petal shapes on some of the interior petals as well. And you don't have to do all of them, just a few. What really defines a hydrangea is the outside shape, the fact that we think of it as a ball, although very few hydrangeas are completely round, and I don't want it to be round. There I stepped away to dry it. But I want it to be a generally round shape, but notice how I deliberately made some of the petals going outside of that round shape just to make it more interesting. But that's what helps to define a hydrangea, is the shape of it, as well as the shape of the interior petals. And again, you don't have to do very many of those for the viewer to know that they're looking at a hydrangea. And one thing I forgot to do in painting this one is the other thing that will really define a hydrangea is when you see the little stems going through the flower, like when the stem comes up below the flower and then the stem goes out, and you'll see parts of the stem peeking in and out of the petals. It's a green stem, but I just forgot to do that in this painting. So I'm just working around. I do want to preserve some of that white to suggest some highlights. And then in the darker areas, the shaded areas, I'll use more of that purple color. And notice how I just work back and forth. And that's to let areas dry. So I'll do a little bit of the green foliage and then go back to the flower, let that dry, and then go back and do some more on the foliage and the leaves. So here again, several times, I have to go back in several times to paint the foliage because I think I used more water than I really wanted to, and the color lightens up so much when it dries that once it dries, I have to go back and do it again, which is okay. And notice how much water I'm using there. I'm using more of the color right at the edge of the petal, and then when you see my hand move away, I'm going to rinse my brush, and then I come back just with water and pull that color out so that I don't have dark color going all the way out to the edge of the painting. I don't want that green color to just take it over. And I'm just using very loose strokes when I do that. Notice my strokes, I'm just kind of mushing the brush around, and you can practice this just on some kind of scratch paper, like typing paper or something, just to get the feel of that. But you can make some really nice looking loose foliage shapes by doing that. And then I can go back in later and add some more leaves or define some more leaves through some negative painting. So I just keep moving around the flower. And as I get more of the green color, the darker green color up against the flower, notice how much more the flower stands out. It really makes that flower come forward when you do that. And I'm looking for opportunities to keep some lost edges. And I have some nice lost edges on this flower. I don't want hard edges all the way around. And I think I do it in this video. I can even show you a little technique to make it look like a lost edge, even if you forgot to do that. So there's a good lost edge at the bottom of this flower where the pink and the white are together right in the bottom center. That's a nice lost edge, and I don't want to lose that. Sometimes I get carried away and paint around them, but I really just want to leave that the way it is. And that's what people really like. They like that, and that's what gives it the loose look, is those hard and soft edges. I'm still looking for opportunities to suggest some individual petals. And just notice how subtle it is. It's not much, but it's just enough to let the viewer see what this is. There I'm getting a little more dark green color in there, but at the bottom center of that flower, but I want to be careful not to mess up that beautiful lost edge. And those things are just happy accidents. They'll happen more when you have a lot of water on the paper, but it's the luck of the draw. I'll tell you, it's just something you have to practice a lot. And then you'll get to understand, get the feel of how much water should be on the paper and where to leave white areas and where you can have lost edges. Still working on darkening up some areas right next to the petals. Notice how I'm staying away from that beautiful lost edge area. I had too much color there, and that's a real staining color. That's Winsor blue. It's like Prussian blue. It's really staining. That's why I quickly took my spritzing bottle and spritzed off that color. I had just picked up too much of it. And there I'm actually defining a leaf with my brush. Sometimes I just go back into the foliage and use negative painting to draw a leaf. I think I do it here too, where you can see that. And notice I get some dark areas, dark spots right up against the flower, but not a dark circle all the way around the painting. You don't want that. It would look really silly. But here and there you want some dark edges. And what really looks nice is if you can get a really dark edge up against a really light area of the flower. That makes it really stand out. I want to be careful here because I've used a lot of green already on the painting, and I don't want to cover the entire background with the green. Notice how I have that white area on the right side of the painting that I'm going to leave white. And there's some white at the bottom and some at the top. So now it's time to go in. Here I finally switched brushes. I did all of that other work just with that little 1/2 inch or 3/8 inch brush, a flat brush. But now I switched to my number 4 round. I think it's a 4. It might be a 6, but I think it's a 4. And all I'm doing is negative painting around a shape to define that leaf. And what I do, I pick up some color and get right up next to the leaf. Here you can see it, kind of defining the shape, but I get right back in there with just water and soften that so that that doesn't dry into a hard line. There I'm just adding some little veins to the leaf. I thought there was too much of a hard line under that leaf, so I went back in with some water to try and soften it up. Just make it look different. So much of watercolor painting is about fixing problems. There's a saying that somebody had that your first stroke is the watercolor, the rest of it is problem solving. And that is so true because the watercolor has a mind of its own. But that's part of the beauty of it and the fun of it. And there I was just negative painting another leaf as well. It's just really suggesting a leaf. And if you've seen my other videos, you know I don't like to paint leaves. So this is a nice way to do it. And it's very subtle. It doesn't take over the painting. So that's pretty much it. A quick little study on a hydrangea. Here's the finished piece that I took a photo of. And thanks so much for watching. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I really appreciate your support. Thanks again.